Everyone. I trust that we are doing fine. Sorry, I'm trying to. Good morning. If you can hear me, can you please give me a show of hands? Hello, Esther. How you doing? Oh, that's good. Thank you very much. Okay. We're having more people join us now. Okay. All right. Oh, we do have Femi. Okay. Oh, thumbs up to you too. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. We're expecting more people to join now. So we're going to give like 5 minutes or so. And then we are going to quickly have a wonderful conversation around our strategy for the year ahead, right? I think wishing you compliment of the season is quite in order because we are already in the season, right? You can see from the weather, the rush, supermarkets, everywhere is showing the vibes that we know of Christmas. So basically, yeah, we are getting there. So basically, the goal of today's conversation with John is to engage us on how to better position for the ahead. Oftentimes, there are things that we take for granted, and basically, if you begin to pay attention to all of those things, then we are better positioned to get more results from all of our endeavors or pursuit or enterprise, as the case may be. So we're just waiting. I have 3 more minutes and then we'll start. Let me also inform you that we're streaming this live on YouTube. So basically, if there's anything that you miss, go back and watch and then listen to it again. But the beauty of joining here now is if you have questions, you have areas you want us to have further conversation around, then we could do that. But with the YouTube, you will have access to section. So basically, I would advise you to just stay here till this session is over. It's not going to be for a long time. The goal is to ensure that this session is as brief as possible without wasting our time and ensuring that we get to the cross of the matter, the main thing of your conversation. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Basically, without much ado, I would just quickly like to talk about myself and the organization that I represent, what we do, and why are we doing what we are currently doing. I work with Pelse Consulting. It's a management consulting firm that provides services that aids organizations in achieving their growth and expansion targets. And we've been doing this for quite a while now. Our key goal is to see that, begin to look at internal processes and structures to ensure that SMEs can become sustainable, become profitable, and ultimately scale their businesses. And you and I know it is when they are able to do this that they can then begin to, how do we say it now, begin to contribute to the GDP, and begin to fulfill the trade purpose. I'm so sorry. I think I have a network glitch. My network just went off. Uh, Sorry about that. Okay, so while I was trying and become better, and the last few years that we've been doing that, we've seen how businesses are starting from just idea stage to becoming businesses that are better structured, and they're also capturing better value, which is enabling them to do more for the communities where they operate. So basically, that's our motivation. That's what we're doing. And our goal is to ensure that we build that community of people who are doing business in that way, right? And not only that, they have the right structure that we enable them to build systems that can actually scale. Because if we are building businesses that are not scaling, it doesn't really make too much of sense. It's not really helping that much. Okay. And that shouldn't be our continued narratives. It has to change. Who says the next blue chip or top business to come out of each of the sectors will be yours, will be ours? The dominant forces or players in the industry are not going to be there forever, but they can be there forever if you allow them. So that means you need to start really young people who are doing business differently, who are trying to change the narrative, push boundaries, and become better. And that's our focus, targeting young businesses, and not necessarily by young owners. If they are run by young people, that makes it good. But if they are, the goal for us is that these businesses are just starting and they are really seeking for an opportunity to scale and disrupt the system where necessary. Sometimes just to make things a lot more better. So without much ado, I know we have a lot of us here so that we don't do a lot of introductions. Maybe when you have questions, you can then introduce yourself and then we can start talking about that. But as I continue this session, it's going to be an interactive session. It's a workshop, like I said. So the goal of the workshop is to ensure that everybody can then ask questions. Many of us are not clear about what strategy and how, because there are some we are very familiar with terminologies, but in actual sense of conceptualizing and domesticating them, that we are now operationalizing them in our day-to-day business activities, it can then become a challenge. So the goal of this particular session is to ensure that this conversation is way beyond just having conversation around the taglines, but around things that you and I, within this short period of time, can quickly run through and understand to enable us to our businesses better. Is that okay, guys? All right, so I will just start and then we can continue with that. Right, so basically, permit me to share my screen. I had it shared before my network went off. And please, if you notice any network glitch, just bear with me, bear with us. We've done all we could to ensure that there's a stable network, but this thing can still happen. So if it happens, just stay there. We are sure that we are working to restore audio stuff that you are able to continue to learn. So basically, this is what we are talking about: strategy development, position your business for growth in 2024. So basically, many of us, I presume that everybody that's on this call have one business or the other that you are doing or that you're about to start. Because though I know strategy also can apply to your personal life in terms of career, in terms of your personal pursuits, where you want to be, there's strategy for everything. So basically, why are we looking at this? Why is it important? I would just like if I can get one or two persons to share why they think this conversation is important. Because there must be a reason for you to join. I know you have quite a lot of things that you could be doing with your time at this point in time. So basically, I would like to ask you, maybe you've been hearing about strategy. Why did you join this session? And then what are you aiming to gain from this session? So I'm going to take just from 3 people and then we move on. So I can raise up your hands, then I will call you. All right, Shuan or Shu. Yes. Unmute and then share your own thoughts about what you think and why it's important and what you're looking at gain in this session. Shuan, Bashir.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Well, okay. It is all about.
I can't hear you, Shuan.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity. I hope you can hear me now. Can you hear me, please?
Right.
We can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you now.
Okay, so thank you so much for this opportunity. Well, it is all about business and anything that has to do with business this time around. I always jump over it fast because one of the things that kills the idea is lack of strategy. And when you have this strategy, and you can't strategy will not just come naturally. You have to learn, you have to listen to people with experience already. So that's why I'm here.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution. Jackson, can we hear from you?
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Am I audible enough? Okay.
Yes, you are. I can hear you.
Okay, sir. So basically, because of my business, stand the fact that for business growth, you need to learn from people who are renowned and have been doing, are successful in their field and have passed through stages that you want to pass through. So I want to reposition my business. I want to scale up my business. I want to see my business, successful in 2024. And that's why I'm here, basically. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I don't think we have a third person, right? So if we don't have a third person, then we can just proceed.
I'd like to share my thoughts too. Am I audible? I think I'm raising my hand though. Hello, sir. Hello.
Can hear you. I think his network from his own end is fluctuating, but we can hear you. I believe your message will be delivered late to him, but you can hear you.
Okay, just to share my own opinion too on why I joined the session. We are entering into a new year, and it's a time to review, to learn and relearn, and possibly online. So I'm joining the session so that I can pick 1 or 2 new ideas and maybe as I plan my strategy for next year for growth, I may pick 1 or 2 things from the session. Thank you very much.
Okay, can everybody see anything? All right. Okay. So basically, one of the things I always tell people, let us try to simplify so that people understand what we are talking about. So it's not like we are talking about something that's over everybody's mind, and then we don't understand we are speaking plenty English and stuff like that. But basically, to cut the long story short, strategy is just about planning course of actions to achieve a particular thing, and then paying attention to everything that may or may not happen, and then position yourself to be at advantage. That's exactly what strategy is. I know a lot of us watch football, right? And if you don't, please, I'm sorry about that. But basically, if you go to any training and they're talking about strategy, they use organizations, sports teams, and different kind of settings to illustrate and give us explanation so that we have something that we can easily relate to. So basically now we are going into New Year. And just like this year now, for some of us that are in Nigeria now, when we started this year, you know how much the cost of petroleum is, which is for PMS, right? Even gas, diesel, kerosene, and all of these things have a way on our production, like cost, for example. And then the issue now is this: how do you manage and continue to position yourself very well? Some businesses, we read the news now, so many businesses that are even raised sometimes are exiting the market by December. By the end of this month, we are finally in. But some, even in this market, in the face of what people will call, some people have austerity, right? Some are thriving. The question is, what happens? Sometimes it's not by lack of strategy. It's about sometimes poor implementation, or that the strategy is not adequate. It's not buoyant enough to look at all the other key factors that you have to consider when you are developing a strategy to win in the market. And it's not only peculiar to the Nigeria market. We also must understand the dynamics of the marketplace globally in terms of doing business is changing. So it's quite unfortunate that majority of the businesses now are not looking ahead to plan ahead. But it starts with, where do you want? I always tell people there's no strategy if there's no direction. So sometimes if your dream is not big enough, so for example, I was having a conversation with somebody and I was asking, at what rate do you want to grow your business next year? He said 10%. And I laughed. I said, if you try to grow by 10%, right, your business, have you considered what inflation growth rate is going to be next year? I apologize once again for the network issue I'm having. Sorry, can everybody hear me again now? And is it better? So I have to switch. So before we proceed, hello, can everybody hear me now? If you can hear me, please just give me
Thumbs up. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, I have to come forward. All right, that's great. Very well. So from what we have here now, right? We business strategy is simply resource allocation. So when you strip away all the noise, that's what it comes down to. Allocation of what? Of your resources. So what are you allocating resources to? So it means making clear call choices about how to compete. You cannot be everything to everybody, no matter what the size of your business or how deep its pockets. I'm going to use a typical case study that we know. For some of us that are in Nigeria, I know we have people joining us that are not from Nigeria, but we are all familiar with Indomie. And many of us remember when if we are if you are above like 30 and above, remember that when Indomie was introduced to the market space, a lot of people are like, there's a lot of narratives around it. Small picking food, clinical food, and stuff like that. But they position themselves that way. And then all their adverts were always about children. But if you go out there today, the amount of everyday person that is consuming noodles now, it's alarming. Technically, every street there's Michelle or Abuki that or one lady or one brother that is running Indomie joints where people go even during lunch, later in the evening. You see people, everybody, okay, please Abuki, make 2 Indomie for me, 2 eggs and all of those things, right? Now, it's not beyond what children are eating. It's not everybody's food. Start making different sizes, super pack, hungry man size, all of those sizes and stuff like that. But still, when they do the adverts, it's now they're not looking at it, making it more of a family food now. But when they started, it was more of the children's food, the children, and then they were speaking to the consciousness of young people and then to place demand on their parents to buy. Because don't forget, people know they are speaking to young people. It's not the young people that will still buy. It's still the parent and the adult that will still pay for this product. But they've been able to understand that these young people have the capacity to influence their parents to buy. And that this will also keep, and the children will love the taste of what they are giving to them. And some parents will normally take it. And by doing that, strategy. I don't think that it's not like they won't do that. Sometimes for you to get that 4 or 5, 6, 5, tell you about
We're not hearing you. We can't hear.
Oh my God. Can you hear me now? Wow.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me? Oh, that's good. Oh, thank you. I'm so sorry. So you've not been hearing me since. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. I'm so sorry about that. And I've been not okay. Did you hear when I was making an analogy about at what point did you stop hearing me? So I know where to go back to.
When Indomie started making adverts
amen.
about family.
Okay. So basically what I've been saying is that we have businesses who all adults now eat noodles. Oh, awesome, awesome, basically. So you've been able to see how they are able to develop a strategy that allows them to penetrate into the market and make what they are selling, what is more like a staple food now, like an everyday food. It's something that people buy every day now. So that is a strategy. They didn't come up by saying that we are making food for everybody to eat. Do you understand? That means we are able to streamline and focus and then continue to grow from that level. And that is why this caveat is also very, very important. Strategy are in levels. We have what we call business level strategy, we have corporate level strategy, we have international level strategy. They all occur at different stages of your business or your empire or your organization, as the case may be. But we are going to restrict ourselves for the purpose of this conversation to business level strategy and then a little bit into corporate level. Because the goal for us is to see that some of you are transitioning from just running business, buying and selling, to building a corporate entity. One of the challenges I love to give to every entrepreneur that I see, that because we know that there's a difference between being an entrepreneur and then being a typical businessman that's just buying and selling. Because it's about creating value, and then you are looking at how to make that value sustainable, and that you are delivering it in a way that is not value to whoever is buying from you. All of these things are things that I also have to put out there for us to know and to understand. Okay? So we talked about this. So I'll be moving in between a lot of documents. So before we talk about conducting your SWOT analysis, how to master the organization, for some of us that might not be familiar with the concept of strategy, let me just quickly run us to the foundation of what a strategy is, right? We say a strategy is a plan or a method aimed at achieving a goal. Simple. However, it is used to put a strategy into action and achieve a set of objectives. So oftentimes, many people are unable to differentiate between a strategy and tactics. If you have a very good strategy, but if you are not tactical, it becomes a problem. Take for instance, many of us that watch football, when they go, one of the things that separates the very best coaches from the ones that are not, it's about these tactics. Many of them have a strategy. Our strategy is to defend in this match, and when we defend very well, we are going to get counter and score. That's the strategy. But when you are playing on the field of play, each phase of the game, as it's unfolding, there are tactical play-outs, tactical nuances that are playing out there that you as a coach have to be able to respond with and give your people, your team, the requisite understanding on how to deal with all of those things and still remain within the strategy that you have designed for yourself. And sometimes an occurrence might happen. Say, for example, you intend to attack the opponent and score 100 goals. And now you are at the 75 minutes. And suddenly your best defender has an injury or receive a red card. And you have just 10 players to complete 11 players within the level. What is now the tactical change you have to make? Everybody will go back into defense. And then you tweak a little bit of things, you make substitution, you do all of those things. Those are what we call tactical changes that you are putting in place, such that the overall strategy of defending the game, you are not doing that. So I think for some of us that are very familiar with sport, I think that's the everyday activity of practice and strategy playing now that we could see. Same thing with an organization. So for instance, now you put on a strategy to do a marketing, to do X, Y, and Z. And all of a sudden, there's a change in the entire system. Maybe government is changing the policy or changing one thing or the other. How do you react to this? So you say you want to market to corporate bodies. you want to have 20 corporate bodies as your clients in the next year, and then you reach out to all of them and they didn't send you an email, they didn't respond to your email. How do you react to this? What do you do to get their attention? Because don't forget your strategy to win. Your strategy to win for 2021, you are highlighted to say, I want to get this. So that's just it. So, but as you can see on the diagram that we have around by this side, that this is what we call, I call it a strategic framework. This is, it's been explained from beginning to the end. The foundation of anything called strategy, like I said earlier on, is your mission and your objectives for 2024. What are you aiming to achieve? You need to write them down. You have to clarify them, okay? Like I was saying, somebody saying that you want to do 10%, and let's say inflation is looking at 15%, or 7%, or 8%. So if you grow your business by 7%, and inflation should move, and there's movement along the inflation line for the year for 7% or 5%. The event in the last 1 year has shown us that anything is possible, right? Then the question is this: how much of that will you have left? Will that inflation not swallow your business? Will it allow you to keep your operational overload aloft? Will you be able to do that? And do not forget, sometimes depending on the way your business is structured, on how you get paid, do you advance invoice to your customers, to your corporate client, and they pay in 30, 40 days? So if they pay in 30, 40 days, how are you planning to adjust your pricing? Knowing that inflation might move. So for example, you supply a product at 100 naira today, and maybe your cost price was around 60 or 70 naira. And then by the time they pay you 1 month later, to procure that same product has gone to 95 naira. That means you have just 5 naira to play with. So sometimes it can be very, very difficult. And take, for example, that you have collected that money from loan and stuff like that. And maybe the loan that you are paying on that money is now 5 naira. By the time you pay 5 naira, that means you have nothing left. So these are some of the things that you have to plan for, to look at and say, what do I want to achieve? When you understand what you want to achieve for that year, then you now begin to sit down and analyze what are the challenges. And that's what I always tell people: research is very important. As you can see now, we see internal analysis and external analysis. So when we talk about internal analysis, then that is what will take us to what we have here. Your SWOT analysis helps is majorly on your internal capability to look at your strengths, your opportunities, your weakness, and your threats. So that is what your internal analysis is all about. But when we talk about your external analysis, then we're talking about things around your personnel. Okay, you are looking at the political landscape, the economic landscape, the technological landscape, the environment, the legal landscape. What is changing? What is the government saying they are going to introduce next year? Are they saying that we will now require certain licenses to operate in our business? Are they going to say that this is the next thing that we need to do? And are there new regulations that government wants us to conform with? You need to do a proper analysis and position your business, because all of these things are always changing year in, year out. As you can see, the federal government has already, also another thing you also have to look at is to look at the budget of the economy, the budget of the country for the year. Your microeconomy is very, very important for your strategic planning. You cannot outperform the microeconomy that you're playing. So if 100 million is the entire circulation, you can't outperform 100 million because that is the entire market size. It shows you what is the market size is and then what to look out for. When you see, okay, for example, many of us, we are seeing that federal government is saying they are investing a lot of money into SMEs, and you can see that local, state government, local government, churches, organizations, international partners, they are focused on helping and supporting SMEs to scale their businesses and achieve better yield and more efficiency in the ways and the manner they run their businesses. But all of this is only possible for us to take advantage of if we are rightly positioned, and that is where strategy comes in. Okay, so when you do the internal analysis and the external analysis, you now put everything together to make what we call a strategic choice. A strategic choice is so important to know that this is what we think would be a differentiation for us, would be a game changer. It'll be what? A game changer. I know some of us that have participated in our strategy session before, or business case review. And then when we are reviewing some of the business cases, and then people kind of know what to spend money on. Some of us might have to sit down and look at your marketing plan. Am I doing it the right way? Do I need to revisit this and understand the core thing? I'll give you a typical example. Many of us will know what we call Airbnb. Airbnb is an organization. It's a company that you need an apartment, hotel, whatever it is, on a short-term basis, and they connect you who have a private property or whatever to people who will need it, and then you make payment for it. They are more or less like an Uber. Their model is similar to Uber. And the early stage, we are trying a lot of marketings and stuff like that. But at the point, they realize that what is it that we should focus on? What should we invest the most of our resources on to get the maximum yield? Because don't forget, the essence of strategy is to understand where you put the least of your effort for maximum yield. Least of effort for maximum yield. Many of us have services, products that they are like an anchor, dragging us backward, not allowing us to get the maximum yield that our business deserves. So the question on our mind is, or that should be on our mind is, this year I have 5 products. Can you sit down and analyze what was the narratives around each of these products? What did I get from them? Okay? Because we need to analyze them and know, okay, I'm selling rice, I'm selling beans, I'm selling garri, I'm selling groundnut oil. From rice, I made 20,000 naira profit. From beans, I made 50,000 naira profit. From garri, I made 7,000 naira profit. From groundnut oil, I made 12,000 naira profit. There, you will see, this one I'm not making much profit from it. But then you now look beyond profits and look at the turnover of sales. How many people bought garri from me? Because of business have small margin. Many people come to me to buy garri. It's when they buy garri that they buy this and this and that. So how do I position? How do I position? One product must be the key product that we use to sell other services. All right? So that is just the way it is. Many organizations, when we get to corporate level and level strategy, we begin to see how businesses begin to diversify to get what we call a strategic advantage or a competitive advantage. I hear you now. So like we have it here.
Yeah.
After
You didn't want to, why did you
you
stop
have
the
to
video? I was happy to
strategy implementation. You have made the choice, then you need to implement it. Everything is about implementation. Why you have done your analysis, you have made the choice that this is what you want to follow, then key thing is implementation. And that is where tactics comes in.
How about the guy in that,
because it's a strategic flow. Many things on the video do not flow the way you have planned or anticipate them to. But how tactical you are to be able to respond to these things, whether you put your strategy or not. So the entire process of getting all of these things is called a strategic management process, where you set the mission and objectives, you clarify the objectives, specific performance target to determine how well it is fulfilling its mission. You have to clarify them. There must be target, there must be KPIs. It must be time bound. Then we have, of course, strategic analysis. A company performs an internal analysis to evaluate their strengths and weaknesses, and external analysis to assess the competitive environment. What are your competitors doing? What do they want to do differently? Okay. Then we have what we call, this implementation is very, very critical. Very, very critical. So we have to go back to where we have our internal analysis. How do you conduct a SWOT analysis? When you are conducting a SWOT analysis, it's not the time to pamper yourself, pamper your business. It's a time to be honest with yourself. Because if you lie to yourself, because don't forget, strategy is not built on nothing. These are the bedrock for building a proper strategy. to know what you are good at, what you are not good at, and then begin to know what next to do. All right. You need to know your strengths, your weakness, your opportunities, and your threats. Okay. So there are a lot of tools that enables you to do that. A lot of tools that enable you to do that. So your strengths, you should be looking at your advantages, your uniqueness, your selling points, your skills, and other factors that you have towards your advantage. For example, for some of us that are in climate now, we know that we are doing things that is related to climate. We know that a lot of funding, if I look looking at what the aftermath of COP28, you could see that a lot of funding agreement has been signed to support businesses in that space. So you will see that in terms of the global alliance, global positioning, global economy, you are at advantage. You are what? At advantage. That means you can easily, because a lot of funding is now going towards ESG. You are looking at, do you have an ESG component in your business? So if your business already like around that, it makes it a lot easier for you to access funds. Opportunities, do you have opportunity to improve yourself, your performance, your consumer behaviors? What are the weaknesses, the limitations that you have? Do you have problems? Your team, is the strategy weak? What are the other factors that are weakness to you? Threats, external troubles, obstacles, competitors. The trends, is the trend changing away from what you currently do? You know, for some businesses that are trying to raise funds, it became a lot difficult for some businesses that are not tech-enabled to raise funds because the trend is business funders are now looking for businesses that are tech-enabled because they feel that with that they can easily scale it. And if you are scaling it, does not require you to hire a whole lot of people, thereby increasing your overhead costs in terms of salary payment and all of those infrastructure that you will need to support the employee that you are bringing on board. Okay, so these are the things that we also have to really look at. So basically, I'll quickly run us through the next thing that we have there. We talked about conducting SWOT analysis. The next thing you need to do is to streamline. You can't serve everybody. All right. You must be able to. One of the things that people also, customer focus, we also speak to your brand identity, your positioning in the market space. We also speak to how you want to be perceived by anybody that is patronizing your product or your organization. If you've not been collecting feedback, I understand. I don't know how you are going to. Currently now, Pelse Consulting, we are doing a survey to understand challenges that people faced and begin to position them through some of the things that we do in terms of policy advocacy to ensure that businesses and the community of businesses, the ecosystem is better supported. But that is only coming from the fact that we get constant feedback. With every program that we do, everything that we do, we roll out feedback form for people to fill. And we sit down with this document to analyze them, to understand what the challenges are and how people are looking at us. Another thing that we must look out for us to have a good strategy coming into 2024 is what we call digital transformation. It's what it simply means is that if you have been doing marketing before, if you've been doing your business in one way or the other, the goal is how do I embrace and embed technology to enhance efficiency, to improve your customer experience, and to stay competitive. And thank God AI is now out. There's a lot of data analytics tools that can enable you to know, because there is no strategy without information. If you are strategizing and you don't know what is going on within your business, outside of your business, then permit me to say that you are just strategizing for the sake of it. Don't get me wrong, you can become successful. Even in innovation management, there's what we call accidental innovation. So it could be an accidental success. But many of us, we are not planning to hinge our success on accidents. We want to be able to say that we are at least to a reasonable level, we are in control of what comes to us. Okay? We've talked about all of these things, understanding your everything that you need to now do for you to be able to win your business. So we now go back to this place. The microenvironment is very, very essential in the sense that it allows to understand the external factors that influence your firm's choice and performance. Okay, so there's what we call pest analysis. This pest analysis has gone out. Now we have Pelse, where you have the legal structure that you also have to look at. Political factors now. In Nigeria now, what we have is a hope agenda. And the government is trying to reposition the entire nation to focus on that agenda document that they have. So you have to look at factors that will impact purchasing power. Some of us want to increase your price. You have to look at it that at what point can I increase my price? Now we know for a fact that the cost of certain things that causes inflation, which is two major things in Nigeria, for example, is the cost of fuel and forex. And you can't even separate the two of them from each other, because if you import petrol or petroleum products from abroad, that means you need forex to pay. That means there will be pressure on forex, which means it will constantly go up, and law of demand and supply will apply. So, but now that we know that we have two major refineries that's coming online, we are having Dangote refinery coming up, we are having Nigerian government, Port Harcourt refinery coming on board, and some other small refineries coming on board. What we then begin to see, not in the first quarter, but most likely in the second quarter, is like we begin to see that there could be reduction in the price of these products, which also means that the reduction in the reliance on demand and likely become better. So when that happens, what that means is that purchasing power of people which has been eroded in the last 2-3 months can begin to have some level of respite and restoration. So that means if I want to improve or increase my products now, a strategy, for example, now I'm targeting increasing my product in April. How do I get people in? I need them hook. My product has to be really good, so that by the time I bring them in and I increase my product in April, and they have more money to afford and pay for it now, it means that they're already hooked with the quality of the product that I serve them or I provide. And then they are positioned and interested. And as you know, it's like a journey. Let me give you a typical example. For using my Pelse consulting as a case study. Now, so when we started, we observed that we are servicing primarily SMEs. Now we do more than SMEs. As a matter of fact, we also consult for consulting firms now, right? So basically, now when we started, we're focusing mainly on SMEs. And not only consulting, we also consult for government organizations and government and things like that, and international organizations as well now. But our focus then was SMEs. But talking to SME owner to part with millions of naira, when they are just starting, it's not possible, it's not feasible, right? Giving them 500,000 naira to say, pay 500,000 naira was not even feasible either. What did we do? We did what we call a cost analysis strategy. So what we do is to say, how much will it cost me to implement this job for this person? So that I am not at loss. Okay, I'm putting 3 consultants. These 3 consultants, I don't need to have senior consultant on this project. It's not a big project. I can bring one senior consultant and 2 associate consultants who will be able to work on this project and deliver excellently well. These senior consultants will only meet with these people 3 or 4 times. The first time is to provide guidance for this associate on what they need to do. The associate will go ahead to do it. They go back to this senior consultant to review and reverse what has been done. And then the senior consultant will give further advice and feedback on whether what they've done is good or not. And lastly, once they are done, they submit the project to the senior consultant, who will now revise and submit the final draft. So in the scheme of things, I'm only going to engage the senior consultant 3 times. And I am paying the senior consultant per hour. So I'm already calculating this is how much, this is how much, this is how much. And these other guys, I pay them this. They are able to calculate and reduce the cost. Okay, so I can ask, okay, give or take, I can complete this job within 150,000 naira. So I tell the person, okay, pay me 200,000 naira. So when they pay 200,000 naira to you, so I now have 50,000 naira to say, the guy says, okay, we have 50,000 naira, and this 150,000 naira to implement this project. What we then observed was that once they used those documents and we were following up with them, some of them now began to, I remember the first job we did, they paid us 300,000 naira for that job. That was the first job that we did as an organization. And then after implementing that project for that organization, 2 months down the line, they requested our service again for another part of their business. And some of the people that are funding their business, when they saw what they did with the first document and how we were able to support them, how they are now utilizing it to become better, they invested more money into the business. Now they now came to us and said, okay, what you now want to do now, we're paying around, I think they pay us around 750,000 to 800,000. But what they are paying me 750,000 to 800,000 was less in terms of what I need to do compared to the first job. But what we have done is to now we've proven to them that we have the capacity to deliver and do not just deliver, but deliver excellently well. And so that it can help them transition and become better at what they do. So it's very, very important that you sit down and begin to know, okay, I want to take these people on a journey. And that as they grow and they become better, they're in a position to pay me more. Now they see more value in what I'm offering them. So you need to sit down and understand all of these things. The purchasing power is very important. Factors that can impact market size and customer needs. The social, you need to understand all of those things. Now we now come to the crux of the matter, which is how do you develop a strategic roadmap for you and your organization? So I've talked about all the things that you need to consider, all the things that you need to know. So number 1 thing, if you want to develop a strategy, is to understand your vision and your objective for next year. Clarify it. As the owner of the business, it is your responsibility to sit down and say, this is the direction. If you have a board or if you have a management team, to sit and say, where are we going next year? What do we want to achieve? What are the major milestones that we want to set? Do you want to expand, open a new branch? Do you want to increase our market force? What do we want to do? We need to understand that. And once you understand your objectives, then you now begin to sit down and say, what then do I need to achieve these things? Because if riches were houses, beggars will ride. So it's not enough to say this is what we want to achieve. You also have to sit down and say, and properly articulate. So I usually tell the organization, don't have more than 3 to 5 objectives for the new year. Say, create big, sit down and get 5 major objectives for your organization for the new year. And then sit down and say, what are those things that I will need to do to achieve this? Say, for example, you want to increase your sales. Maybe you're currently doing 100 million naira per month. And you now want to move to maybe 500 million. The question you need to ask yourself first is, the workforce that I have, do you have the capacity for that jump? Will I be required to increase my workforce? So if you need to hire people, so now, under that particular objective, what are the things you will need? You are writing down, I need to increase my staff strength. Do I need to increase our technology? You write it down. Do we need to spend more on promotion, marketing promotion, and all of those things? You write it down. All of those things that you don't need to do, you need to sit down and begin to itemize them. Okay, if I'm increasing the team size, that means I'm going to buy more computers. If they use computers, buy phones. I need to buy office tools that they will use And it also means that your admin costs will also go up. What that means is that, for example, if you increase your staff strength by 5 people, so if you are using, for example, water, 1 dispenser water in a week or in 2-3 days before, now that you have 5 more people, that means your resources will be consumed faster. So all of these things are things you now need, it should now begin to give you clarity. And that way, it's also leading you to your budget for the year. Are we seeing the correct correlation? Hello? Are we still there?
Yes, we are. We are with you, sir.
We are with you. We are with you. We are
We
following.
are with you. We are with you.
We are with you, sir. 100%. We are with
We
you.
are with you 100%. You are
Hello,
following
can
the.
everybody still hear me? Please give me thumbs up if you can still hear me. Oh, awesome, awesome. So now we are seeing the correlation. You can't, then you now begin to, so once it's, everything begins with your objectives and all of those things, then you now sit down and do a proper analysis. What do I have? What do I do? What is likely going to change in the entire microeconomic space to know how to position myself? Once you have done that, and you have all of those things, and you've clarified and all of those things, then you will now sit down and bring everything back here and try to fix them into this particular scorecard. It's called balance scorecard. There are templates of it online that you can download and work with your team. It's better you do this with your team because it's a lot of work. If you want us, of course, to come to your organization or you want to come in and help you walk through your strategy for the year, of course, we are available to do that with you. But don't forget, it's going to come at a fee. We should put that out there so that there's no ambiguity of any sort. So basically, now we see, but when you do your strategy, your objectives, like I always tell people, your strategy must fall, your objective rather must fall within 4 buckets. Of the 3 to 5 objectives that you have selected, one of them must be looking at your financial. One of them must be looking at your customer. One of them must be looking at your internal processes, and one of them must be looking at your organizational capacity. Hello, do we understand that? So when you're talking about objectives, so you don't just pick objectives and say you have a strategy that is tilting towards one side and it's not looking at the other side. That's why it's called it balanced scorecard. That means a balanced strategy that looks at all that you want to do in a way that is not leaving all the critical aspects of your business. Your financial is talking about the money you are going to make. Your customer is talking about what do you want, because those are your very, very critical stakeholders. The next is your internal processes. How do you implement or carry out your project? There must be an objective that seeks to make sure that you are doing better than you were doing previous year. Because I don't think it is fair to serve people the same thing that we served them last year, and we're expecting them to respond to it differently. We must look for something unique, something to improve. And that will lead us to the last conversation for this session. And then because it's a lot of conversation and we can't possibly cover everything at once. But those are the 4 critical areas that you must follow. So I would like to just, so for example, for this example that we have here now, so, and then you can, when you download this table, I could send you, if you are interested, just send us a mail. We could send you a balance scorecard that has been filled, so that you can use as a guide, a template to, to fill yours, if you want to do it by yourself. But if you want us to come do it with you, of course, and help you look at it holistically, so that you're not missing anything and you're not confused, we will be able to work with. Like what we have here, this particular one is looking at increased shareholder value, and then they want to reduce their cost. They want to reduce their overhead cost. They want to increase shareholder value. That means the shareholder wants to make more money, and they want to reduce cost. When you reduce cost, one of the ways of attaining profitability is that you increase your revenue or you reduce cost. And sometimes you can even do both, right? So basically, it's also looking at customer. How do I improve my customer experience? I want loyal customers. I want customers that are like my tribe, that are interested in what I'm selling. Then you're talking about your internal processes. You're looking at How are you increasing your efficiency? And also, are you improving your products or your services? What must we do to improve our efficiency and to improve our products? And then lastly, we're talking about organizational capacity. Then we're talking about your increasing your expertise. When you successfully do a proper strategy plan that falls into this bucket, what you will see is that everything will flow into each other. Everything will flow into each other. It means that whatever you are decided to do to improve your organizational capacity must help to improve your internal processes, which in turn will improve your customer acquisition experience and their retention, which will lead to more profits, increase shareholder value, and reduce your cost. Because once your customers are satisfied, you begin to enjoy what we call referral. And referral is the best form of marketing. All right? So basically, you begin to get people who are loyal about your brand, your products, and they are now advocating for it because they got value from it. But everything is about organizational capacity at the base. As an organization, what are the things that we need to change? So when you are setting your objectives for the year, so those are the things. So those vision and mission that you have set for yourself, you want to do this, you want to do that. Be sure that they can fall and fit into this bucket that we have identified. And once you have them, then you now develop your KPIs. How do you know that this has been achieved? So this person is saying share price, net promoter score, that's NPS, which you usually use, capacity utilization rates, and then competency profile. In some organization, one of the things we do in consulting is to write what the competency test. As an organization, as an individual. So be sure that you still know what you are doing and know what you are saying. And that is why every consulting firm embrace learning as ways to increase their expertise so that they remain relevant. When you talk about your target, what's your target? So you're looking at 20% increase, 30% scoring, you cannot set targets for it. Now you know the KPI. These are the things you want to look at, your indicators. This is the target you have set for them. And then you now have to look at it. You don't now stop there. You now say, what will I do to achieve them? Because those things will not just happen. There must be clarity. For organizational capacity now, what is the initiative now? Initiative is talking about the things to do to achieve them. So now we have staff training program. And if you are doing a staff training program, that means you must have done what we call learning gaps analysis to know what people need, what are they not good with, what are they struggling with, what can they do better at. So then you now develop a proper staff training program. That is the initiative you are carrying out. And then you ensure that people take certain courses per year, per this, per that, to improve the capacity of the organization. That would be a different ball game, a different conversation another day when we're talking about organizational learning. When we want to talk about organizational learning, how you preserve learning within an organization for growth. So that is a conversation that we have at a later date. Do you understand? So internal processes, new maintenance procedure, customer service overall. Is that what you want to do? Do you want to revamp your customer service experience? What is the customer journey like? When you bring a customer on board, what is the process? How would they feel involved in your process? Know that you are there with them. So all of these things, there must be things you want to do. How do you want to, what initiative must we do to increase our sales? You must then do it. So once you do this, then you are in a position to say that I have a strategy for what I want to do. This initiative now becomes what you now operationalize in the day-to-day activity of your organization. So it now becomes, these initiatives, you now take it to each department, and each department will now begin to see themselves. Okay, if you're in marketing, what do we do in terms of staff training? What do we do in terms of improving our internal processes? What do we do in terms of customer service overall? What do we do in terms of sales? So they will now clarify it. That will now form their own personal KPI. Their work plan will now be developed around that. So you see how strategy is now being cascaded from the organizational level to the departmental level and now to the individuals. So each individual will now have their targets. We now have all of those that they need to do. It is that thing that they will now develop their own roadmap, work plan around. And then KPIs, you will now set the KPIs for that too. And once that is done, you have what we call a strategy map that talks about what we need to do, how we need to do it. And so a strategy map will now show you the relationship between your strategic objectives, right? And how you get that and how they related with each other. So you can then begin to group them and begin to know, okay, this is this, this is this, this is this. Okay? So you can see improve technology. When you improve your technology, it will improve your internal efficiency. That is what it will do for you. When you increase your personal diversity and improve thought leadership, it will improve your product variety. So I will now give you an example. So that will now take us back to our example Airbnb earlier on. When they wanted to improve their service offering, increase their market share, they were now looking at what is the main thing that we need to improve as an organization that will make people patronize us. If I should go to Sheraton's website or all of these top hotels, I know what I am getting. If I go to Airbnb, what am I getting? Because Airbnb kind of take houses, listings from all sorts of people. Anybody that has a property can list them. Then what did they do? If I ask you what is the major thing that they invested on that changed the narrative for Airbnb, except for those that have been in my class in the past or that have gone to do, or anyone that has studied Airbnb model and strategy, you will realize that what they invested on was photography. They invested massively on photography. So if you are a freelancer photographer and you have standard camera, if somebody is listing a product, you go to the place and give them a fantastic coverage of that place and they will list on their website. That's all. That is the main thing that they spend bulk of their funds on. And now they are getting money from whoever is listing on their website and whoever is taking the listing on their website. The only person that they are spending money on is photography. And through this, they are able to expand their market reach. Because don't forget, if anybody wants to take any apartment now, the first thing you are going to ask is, can I see it? I want to see it. Because you don't want to go to that place, maybe you are taking a place in London or maybe you are going to Birmingham and you want to take something there and you've not been there. So when you go to their site, you will see the apartment you are paying for. And because they are the ones serving as the surety between you and the person that's listening, they are offering you also security of funds of payment. And if you are not comfortable with it, then you can give it back to them. But the first thing they have to do and get right is that they are able to showcase that place in a way that people are able to see it as it should. So that is how this strategic map flow into each other. So when you have improved product variety, it will appeal to new markets. It will do what? Appeal to new markets. It will also help you to improve customer service. When it helps you to appeal to new markets, it will help you to increase your profits. Because immediately you increase your market share, that means you have more revenue. And if you reduce your cost, you have more profits. Okay? So we are not going to go into the details of all of those other things. So I would like to stop here, take questions, and like I said, it's a little lot of conversation that a 1 hour session might not be enough for us to cover. But basically, all the major elements that you need to know and understand, we've gone through them. And for you to know that everything fits into each other, for us to understand what to do. And once we put them on balance scorecard, we now begin to mainstream them into our work plan for the year. Begin to divide them into initiatives, and then from initiatives begin to come into departmental levels responsibility on across all of those things. And then individuals within departments will now begin to do that. But as an organization, if you don't have that kind of workforce that is like that, as an individual, then you have that clarity of what you need to do and how to go about it. Thank you so much, everyone. Then I will take a few questions, feedback, and then we can wrap it up. Thank you. So if you have a question, feel free to, you can raise up your hand if you have any question, and I'll be glad to clarify them. Do you have any question?
Okay. Thank you so much for the section. Please, can you please emphasize on the KPI?
Okay. So so setting KPIs is also very important. KPIs is key performance indicators. So that is also another critical thing we have to understand when we are trying to set up our objectives. So, and there are certain characteristics that your objectives also must have. You must be smart, you must be specifically measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound, right? So you have to, those are major criteria for you when you are setting up an objective. Don't just flip up an objective. So those are, when after writing down your objectives, then you begin to ask, is it specific? Can I measure this? Is it realistic? Can I achieve this within so time? Is it possible to do this within so time? Once you have that, it makes setting your KPI a lot easier. But one of the challenges you see with people when they struggle with KPI is because their objectives are not smart. So if it is not smart, it becomes a challenge to how do I say it now? Set KPI. So how do you set KPI? So basically, let me just quickly run us through that. We set KPI by understanding. There are two ways. We have what we call a leading indicators. So they kind of predict goal achievement. While there's what we call the lagging indicators, which measure the goal accomplishment. So you are supposed to, one of the things we always tell you is that just track 1 or 2 KPIs by your strategic objective. 1 or 2. So for example, a well-chosen KPI it will provide objective evidence. It will measure the relevant information that you need. And to be able to help you to track change over time. It will be able to have a balance of leading and lagging indicators. Be able to see that. So, for example, I say I want to make 100,000 naira in 6 months. So it's very. So what's my KPI? The amount of money made within the next 6 months. That's my KPI. So every month I can see what I'm doing. Am I on the right track? So if this month I made 20,000 naira and I'm targeting 100,000 naira in 6 months, so that means I have 80,000 naira to cover in 5 months. So that means at the end of that month, if I split 80,000 naira into 5 places now, I should be having around 16 or 15,000 thereabout, 16,000 thereabout. So at the end of that month, if I do not achieve 16,000, they already know that I messed up this month. We have to cover up next month. So we know what is the lagging accomplishment. This is what we have left. This is what we need to. This is what we'll be able to achieve. So that is the easiest way to go about it. If it's about setting the objectives in a way that is smart. If you set it in a smart way, your KPI is already looking in your face. But if it is not, that's when you now begin to struggle with KPI. Do we understand?
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, the last one, please. So, in a situation whereby one is asked that, what is your KPI? Are they asking the question based on the achievements, like what one already achieved in that business, or the projection, like what one intends to achieve in the nearest future?
So when they ask you what's your KPI, so basically KPI, so they are trying to see through your reasoning and to be sure that you're on top of things. KPI is what shows to you that you are monitoring things. To show to you that you understand what you are trying to do. Okay. So take for example now, I give you 100,000 naira to you walk up to me to say that Pelse Consulting, I need 100,000 naira. I want to use to support our marketing effort in the first quarter of the year. And then they will now ask you what is it, because every investor is going to ask what's the rate, what are you going to get out of this? Okay, it's going to help us to make 100,000 naira monthly for the next 3 months. That means I'm going to make 300,000 naira times 3, whatever my investment is, and at the end of the day, I have 200,000 naira margin for the business. After that, for that particular report, that's just a straight calculation without going deeper. And go deeper, it might not be up to that at all. So what you now see now is that so what's the KPI? How will you measure this? How do you know that it's going to buy from us? Number of people that so somebody say, what's the KPI for this? What's the parameters? They're just trying to understand your parameters for making a particular, or for making certain assumptions, or for making certain investment, or for tracking certain performance. Or so KPI is like it shows. Even when you work in a corporate organizations, those are the things that they measure. If you are working in sales, your KPI is not somebody that's working in operation. Not somebody that's working in maybe HR, working in admins or other support services within the organization. So a cleaner's KPI is number of times the office is cleaned in a day. So if he's supposed to clean the office twice and he cleaned the house once, that means he has paid for the test of cleaning it twice. So basically, that kind of you can use it to track performance. How well are you performing? So you must sit down to know what are the things. So people ask you that question to know whether you're on top of things, whether you understand what needs to be tracked, whether you are accountable to yourself. So there's a lot of implications to all of those things, and that you are taking proper record. Because KPIs, if you are not tracking KPI, it shows that you are not tracking anything. KPI shows that you are truly in tune and in control of it.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So we are going to take, I think we still have about 8 more minutes before we end this session. So if you have questions, you want to run your stuff for this year and you need clarity on anything, fine. If you don't have questions, we'd like to take 1 or 2 feedbacks and then move on from there. Okay, so if you don't have any question, so at this point, I'm going to say thank you so much, everybody, for joining us in this workshop. Our goal was to get 20 people for this session, and I see we had about 23 at some point or 24. So that means we kind of achieved our goals. Our goal is to, we are not looking at, the goal is to see how we can help the cluster of people who are truly interested in understanding some of the things that they're not beginning to think and do differently as they move into the year ahead. Thank you so much. We are looking forward to you doing amazingly well. We are happy to support you. One of the things that we are looking at is to ensure that you want to have a strategic review with your team, you want to clarify your goals and objectives of the organization. We'll be happy to be of service, to support you in that regard. In the coming year, we want everybody to win. We want to wish you a compliment of the season, wish you a prosperous new year ahead. Usually we do this every year to have conversation with people and then position them to understand how to look at their business. And we also advise, please, study the budget for the year and a lot of economic outlook forecast for the year ahead, so that you can then know how to position. These are part of the things you need to do under your first step. You need proper research. You need to understand what's going to happen next year, right? or someone that is in real estate and you have property around the Lekki axis, you need to know that already. A lot of things is going to happen, movement of stuff is going to happen around that space because of the economy coming up and a lot of other things coming up in that space. So all of these things are things that we have to pay attention to and strategically position our business to make that. One last thing that I want to add to what we have said is what I call strategic thinking. The different course entirely from a strategy review. I think in one of the things I had a strategic review thinking, there are three major things that you need to look at in that space. But there's something called blue ocean strategy. It's about creating a niche service in a new market, serving a new market with a niche product. You might want to look at your service offerings and say, what can we do? Can we create a new market out of the existing market? That means you must be listening to them. You are collecting feedback. You know, people want certain problems solved in a way that is, and maybe the solution that's currently available in the market is not addressing other things. That is where your strategy, your understanding of how it works can really, really help. Then the other thing is game theory. You need to understand game theory a little bit. That when people make certain moves, how do you respond? What are the things you need to do? Your competitors and other things that may affect the entire ecosystem. And then lastly, you help your strategic thinking, innovation management. You begin to look at what we are to do as an organization, as a person. How do we improve our team? How do we improve ourselves? How do we become better? These three key things, they are all on their own major topics that you have to properly understand, come together. When you understand them, they can help you to be a little bit more strategic. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. And I think these 3 points of mine have been able to position our business. Oh, thank you for your feedback. Thank you so much. Thank you, Esther Bolariva. Thank you, everyone. Let's have a wonderful day. Thank you. And if you're not on any of our platform, feel free to reach out so that you can join, where we share updates, feedbacks on how to support your ecosystem. Thank you. Thank you, Luwati Lane Talabi, for your feedback. I'm glad it was insightful. Glad that you enjoyed this. Yeah. All right. Let's have a wonderful